Ambrose was a man of power and influence. He was governor of Milan, the administrative capital of the Roman Empire. It was the most important city in all of Europe. Milan was home of the emperor. It was also a major hub of military, cultural, and mercantile activity. As governor, Ambrose had to keep peace in the city, and this he did exceptionally well, winning the respect of all his people. Now that said, it wasn't easy. While the population was mostly Christian, they were bitterly divided between the Catholic Church and the Arian heresy, which had led many astray. In fact, in 374 AD, the local bishop was actually an Arian. Now, Ambrose had come from a Catholic family. Nevertheless, he strove to be fair in his dealings with the Arians. And when the bishop died, both sides were worried. Would the bishop's successor be another Arian, or would he be a Catholic? The streets near the cathedral soon filled up with anxious people who began acting more and more like a mob. Ambrose feared that riots would follow, so he took to the streets himself. He called the people to order and pleaded with them to be reasonable. Calm descended on the crowd, and suddenly a voice called out, "Ambrose for bishop." Then all the people, both Arians and Catholics, took up the cry, "Ambrose for bishop." And that's exactly what happened. Ambrose became bishop. Now he was, as you might expect, a great administrator. He was also an outstanding teacher. He brought about renewal of the liturgy and inspired the conversion of a man who would become one of the greatest Christian thinkers ever, St. Augustine of Hippo. Ambrose understood the power of the state, and he understood the church's authority. A man of strength, he repeatedly managed to keep the emperors from taking what belonged to the church. How? He dared to reprimand an emperor privately in a letter. Once he organized an act of civil disobedience, leading people to occupy a basilica that the Arian empress had commandeered. And once he had to publicly excommunicate an emperor and demand that he perform public penance before returning to communion. Ambrose knew that civil government would have no power were it not granted by God. He upheld the divine law, protecting the truth and authority of the Bible and the Church Fathers.